this to the right. Now watch this turn. Indicator left, down the slope. What a shot. What a shot. Is it? Oh, would you believe that? Rory McIlroy. What a round of golf. It's one outside the Augusta course record.
Than I anticipated. Oh man, what a shot! I'd say that's pretty good. Whoa!
Good evening, golf fans. Welcome back to the Putting for Dough show, talking all things DFS golf. Specifically this week, the RBC Heritage, as we sadly, for another 12 months, say goodbye to Augusta and the Masters. I'm joined by my esteemed colleagues, Mr. Mark Ferguson and Mr. Jack Humphrey. Fresh off Masters Week, fellas. How are we both feeling about what we've just seen this past week? And more importantly, how are the bank balances looking?
About the same as when we started. Frustratingly, just a very frustrating DFS week. Not from the fact that we're losing, because didn't lose or anything. It's just could have won so much more. That's been a theme across all of us, I think, from the chat we had last weekend, wasn't it? So,
yeah, I feel like it was a bit of a crossbar challenge at the Masters. I had Rahm and Koepka in the lineup, and that's how close I was. Unfortunately, it had Will Zalatoris, who decided to go and have back surgery once the tournament had started. Cheers, mate. And then it also had Justin Thomas in it, who decided that, I'm going to implode. Make sure that Tiger makes the cut, make sure Jack wins that bet, and then then I'm going to implode and not make the cut myself. It was just a bit of a crossbar challenge week, really. Fortunately, I was playing with tickets myself, so that didn't really matter as such. But I did back the outright winner in Mr. Jon Rahm, and I think a lot of what we said last week was spot on. We had some good calls last week. I think we were all quite high on Cameron Young last week. He had a good showing. We were all high on Jon Rahm. Nick, I know you was quite high on Koepka. I sort of got there towards the end of before lock, so to speak. I didn't think he was ever going to win it. I really didn't. I know you kept sort of barking at me, and I know it was all in fun and jest. No, I didn't think he was ever going to win it. I had full confidence in Jon Rahm winning that tournament. I said on the show last week, I thought he was going to win the tournament, and he did. He's the best player in the world, so that was great. I thought Rory was really disappointing. He will never win the Masters, as far as I'm concerned. I think we said that last week. To be fair, one of us, I think we all thought he would have made the cut and probably backdoored like a top 10 performance himself, but. I mean, he just gets in his own head there, and I just could never see him winning that tournament. Hasn't won a major in 10 years. Someone put it out on Twitter the other day. Does Jon Rahm complete the Grand Slam before Rory? And yeah, he does. Jon Rahm's doesn't get in his own head. And for me, watching Jon Rahm on Sunday, that was like watching Tiger Woods of old. He just looked zoned in. All business, and I thought he, as much as Patrick Cantlay helped him, beat Koepka, just with his mindset. So yeah, I loved it. Look, great tournament. Right person won for me, and yeah, I'm really happy John Rahm won that tournament.
Yeah, and in fairness, Jack, though it was all in jest, the Koepka thing, though I was getting sweaty palms going into that last day because I was like, when I actually, I remember being at a Wigan game a few weeks back, and I looked at Koepka at the time. He was 60-1. It was the week where he won the Live event, so it would have been the week before the Masters, and he was 60-1 at that point. And I think he went off at around 40-1 or 33-1. But yeah, in fairness to you, you literally said, right, as soon as kind of day 2 was over with, you were like, John Rahm is winning the Masters. John Rahm will win it for me. You even put it on the tracker chat as well. John Rahm's going to win the Masters. And then it came to day 4, and I was still like, Koepka, well, round 4, should I say. Day 3 and day 4 merged into each other. But round 4, and you were still like, it's fine. John Rahm's going to win it. And he did. I backed John Rahm. I had him on the hot shots on Sky as well. So after a disastrous first hole, he went and strung 8 birdies together across the remaining 17 holes and got me a nice £8 free bet. So cheers for that, John. Converted it into absolutely diddly squat. But in terms of, I was the same. I played with tickets this week, thanks to MLB, and managed to return $50 off one of them tickets. So I'll take that all day long. That was my GPP lineup as well, largely helped by a phenomenal last day of scoring by Thigala, who just came from nowhere and sliced his way through the field, making birdies left, right, and centre. The highlight was the chip in on the 17th. So yeah, I did a little bit of a draft, just like a spreadsheet draft with a few mates who I'm in an NFL league with, and we just did 5 rounds, snake draft, and then just calculated it based on lowest scores of the 4 rounds, and I actually won that. And in the draft, I had Matsuyama, and I had John Rahm, who shockingly fell to me at number 4. But I had Matsuyama and I had Thigala, and obviously I put my betting card out, and they weren't on my betting card. Cameron Young was, Jason Day was, who dropped off. John Rahm was on it, so I won a little bit of money off Cameron Young, off John Rahm. And I had Thigala. I thought, you know what? If I pick him in this draft and don't back him, I'll absolutely kick myself, even if it's just £1 each way. So that's what I did at 100-1. And other than Hovland getting that birdie from the long putt on 17th, that would have returned as well. But that putt knocked him out of the top 8. So unfortunately, nothing back on Thigala. But overall, nice profitable weekend. And like you said, Jack, brilliant tournament.
Yeah, I think we just want to say with the show, I think we got a ton right last week. Like Thigala, I know we were high on Thigala. I said he's just a birdie making machine, and I know he'd never played the Masters before, but he's just so good for DFS because he just gets birdies after birdie. And I think I said in our group chat on Sunday, because he went on that bit of a run, didn't he, on Sunday? Like you say, chipped in, done the Tiger chip in, which was great to see. I just said this is what he does. He's just so good for birdies. I actually think he'll win a major one day for Ghana. I think he's got the skill set to do it. As I do Victor Hovland, and I think Victor Hovland is. I think he's going to learn over the last 2 majors that he's played in. Obviously, he played in the final group at the Open with Rory, and they both just sort of went round in level par each, which just is not good enough around St Andrews. And then this time, I think he was just unfortunate because he got paired with Patrick Cantlay, who, that's just, I could spend a podcast on Patrick Cantlay. I think it's just absolutely disgraceful what he was doing. That kind of thing annoys me on the golf course slow play. If I was John Rahm and Koepka, I would have dropped a bomb on his head. Literally, I would have just hit. I wouldn't have cared.
Well, Hovland got the memo because he played on, didn't he, before Cantlay even got to the green?
Exactly. But like with Hovland, I just think he's very unfortunate that he got paired with him in that last day. Like, I don't think Hovland was ever going to win it, but I just think he was very unfortunate that he got paired with Cantlay, and just doesn't. I know you've got to play with some of these people who are a little bit slower in that, but that's just it was absolutely disgraceful from Cantlay. Absolutely disgraceful.
I think Hovland was Hovland paired with Bennett in the third round as well, because I feel like
No, that was Koepka and Rahm, and Koepka was. You could see Koepka was getting really annoyed with him.
Like his first 2 rounds were phenomenal, and he's an amateur. He did brilliant, but his third and fourth round, my God, he was taking so much time over some of his shots. And I know that all golfers have a routine when it comes to striking a ball, but the little wiggle and the look up and then the look down and the little wiggle, the look up, like how many times do you want to look at your target before you've actually just got to swing the club? One of the worst things you can do in golf is take that amount of time over a shot, because it will not come out how you're expecting it to. He played well, but yeah, I'm with you on Cantlay. He can just get gone for me after that.
I won't be surprised this week. I mean, he's very popular. We're going to talk about DFS in a minute. He's very popular, but I wouldn't be surprised this week if the PGA make a stand against him. And actually, if he does it here, give him a penalty, a stroke penalty. I've not seen it it must be about 10 years since that amateur got the stroke penalty at the Masters. I can't remember his name, the Asian amateur. For slow play, I've not seen it since. I think Cantlay's probably on a watch list this week from the PGA if he does it again.
I think for Koepka to actually come out and say it as well, how slow the play was. Not that the PGA will really care about what Koepka has to say, in fairness, but there's been such a backlash on social media about it.
I did like the guy that tagged him the other day. That thing is like they were newlyweds when Patrick Cantlay teed off, and he actually tagged Patrick Cantlay. I thought it was brilliant.
Rumour is he's still playing his round. He's still not made it round 18 just yet.
Yeah.
Before we do move on to this week, I feel like it would be a little bit remiss of us not to just mention. Sad to see Tiger Woods withdraw like he did. He looked like he was in a lot of pain. We've said it before. Augusta, there was a course where he could win. It is Augusta, because he knows the place like the back of his hand. That said, the walk seems too difficult for him at the moment, especially with his knee.
Well, that's why I bet him to make the cut. Like, he got boosted on Bet365, and then I can't remember the person, but someone sort of come at me on Twitter for it's just it's a love bet and all this. It's not. He just knows his way around that golf course. He's going to get around, and he's going to make the cut. All right, he got a bit of a hand in the situation, thanks to Justin Thomas absolutely imploding. But he made the cut. It looks sad. I'm glad he withdrew when he withdrew. Did you hear the thing about what Jason Day said? Where he was so obviously Tiger withdrew from the PGA Championship last year. I think it was after.
Oh, yes, I have seen.
And he said there was like screws sticking out of his leg, like pierced his skin. Absolutely, it's just nuts. Honestly, I think I'd like to see him retire. I love watching him play golf. Everyone knows that. But I think I'd like to. It just doesn't look good. Like, there's so much pain. Like, you have nothing to prove to anyone. You're the best golfer ever. You have nothing to prove to anyone. It's just not nice to see. He can still hit the ball. That's the thing as well. He can still hit the ball, and maybe I'm pretty sure that's probably getting him around, the fact that he can still hit the ball and he can still shape the shots and everything. But he looks in so much pain doing it.
He did. Like you said, probably the next time we see him now will be at the earliest you would think the Open, which isn't a bad turnout for him really, because Hoylake's relatively flat, so might be a nice course for him, but we'll see. We'll see. RBC Heritage this week. I know this is one of your favourite events that's not a major, Jack. I know you love this event. So why not talk us through the course preview?
I will do. So yes, we are going to the RBC Heritage. It's in Harbour Town. It's Golf Links. That's the name of the course. It's location Hilton Head, South Carolina. It's a Pete Dye design in 1969 with help from Jack Nicklaus. It's a par 71 at 7,121 yards long. Not particularly long golf course. Bit of a shot maker golf course, if I'm brutally honest. Lots of dog legs around this place. Water hazards can be found on 18 of the holes around here, but to be fair, not really going to come into play in most. You're probably looking at 6 holes where the water comes into play. If you go back to last year, I don't know if you guys remember Shane Lowry. I remember it vividly because I had a bet on him at 40-1 last year, and he decided to chip in on, I think it was the 15th, which is the par 3, chip into the water from one side of the greens. So yeah, I remember that one. Thanks, Shane. I've gone back there again this week for the punishment. The fairways, rough and greens here are all Bermuda. The greens are actually quite small here. Very small little targets. They've got they're overseeded with Poa as well. Just to mention, they are lightning fast though. They're pretty firm. Like I said, it's got links in the name, so we are right on the sea here as well. The weather could implement this tournament, be a factor, within this tournament. It doesn't. I done an early look on it the other day. I think Friday and Saturday don't look particularly great at the minute. So monitor that right up to lock. It could be like a situation what we had at the Masters, and they can't dry this place out as quick as they could can at the Masters. They've not got that sort of infrastructure around this place. The highlight of this golf course is probably hole 9. It's a tight par 4 that plays 325 yards long. It's one of them holes that it tries to tempt the player to try and drive the green, but there's a lot of the hazards that can come into play. Lots of tree line fairways around here. Hole 17 and 18 along the coastline. If the tide's out, I've seen a golfer play off the sand before on the beach along here. So it'd be an interesting week. Like Nick says, it is one of my favourite golf courses on the tour. To be fair, it's probably my favourite non-major PGA Tour event, this one. Good field as well this week. It's an elevated status, so all the big names are here except Rory McIlroy, who thinks he can just do what he wants. That's, again, another pod for another day. If you want to hear my rant on Rory, I will have one. So, yeah, just watch the weather this week. Definitely watch that, and we'll break down the stats right now. I will hand it over to Mark.
I feel like the weather, by the way, has been really bad this year. This golf, is that just my impression, or is it you guys the same? It feels like so many tournaments have been affected by weather this year so far.
No, I agree. And the last week, John Rahm come from the bad side to win the Masters. So yeah. I think it can happen. You can get players, can't you? Justin Thomas done it last year at the PGA Championship. I think Cameron Smith done it at the Players Championship, if I remember correctly. I can't remember that one, but because I try not to remember that one. But yeah, it is. The weather has been a bit weird this year with the some of these events, definitely.
Yeah, it just seems like you never get around a day, as it were, at the moment. Anyway, back to this event. Nothing particularly unusual for me as opposed to any other week. However, big focus on good drive percentage and weighted stroke gain approach, which I think pretty much everybody will be focusing on a little bit this week. I've added some new stuff to my spreadsheet and stuff this week. Even got a standard deviation column, which the old number nerds will love. And let's see what happens.
Nice, Jack.
I've got a fairly big model this week. Back to the big model. So I've got strokes gained off the tee on short golf courses. I've got good drive percentage. I mentioned being tree line fairways. You kind of want to be pretty accurate, like decent driving off the tee. Strokes gained approach, that's my heaviest weighted one. No surprise. I've got the proximity buckets of 125 to 150, 150 to 175, and 175 to 200. I've got strokes gained around the green, strokes gained putting on Bermuda putting surfaces, strokes gained total on short golf courses, opportunities gained, and then the comp courses I'm looking at: Harbour Town, which is this one, Sea Island, Colonial, and TPC Sawgrass is a peat dye design. So yeah, I want some of them peat dye specialists this week.
Nice. Yep, a lot of similar stuff. I've gone with the mark approach this week, and I've gone more heavily towards the weighted strokes game because of the strength of field. So I've gone with a bit of off the tee, a bit of approach around the green, putting a little bit more specific under each. Birdies or better gain, driving accuracy percentage and good drive percentage. Same proximity buckets as you, Jack. So 125 to 150, 150, 175, and 175 to 200. A little bit more weighting added to the 175 to 200. Bit of scrambling on there. The usual putting distance within 10 feet and within 10 to 15. Short courses, I've also got course history. I think I've got Colonial, more weighted towards Harbour Town. Obviously, where this is played, TPC Sawgrass and Waylay. I think that is me, so fairly similar. There was a point where I opened my custom model and Ernie Els was number 3 on there. Much like Jack creeping up to the top, but whatever I've done to it, he seems to have disappeared. So, doubtless to say, I probably won't be playing Big Ernie this week.
Only because Sandy Lars not on the field this week.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Poor Sandy, making him go out and play that last hole, just let him finish. I know the weather was bad. I know the horn had sounded, but he had a little chip onto the green and a putt. He was potentially Texas wedging it. Just it's the guy's last ever Masters. Just let him finish up and let him have with the crowd.
Wants to let him stay out there so a tree falls onto him.
Yeah.
By the way, I would have jumped in front of that. He got a lifetime membership at Augusta National.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck to you if you're jumping in front of that tree. They are not like them trees. But on the weather front as well, yeah, I agree with you, Matt. Friday looks like a bit of a washout this week from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But anyone who was calling John Rahm fortunate or got some lucky bounces, just remember that John Rahm was actually on the wrong side of that weather. And Brooksy was not. So,
and go with Jordan Spieth if you want to watch lucky bounces.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Let's get into it then, fellas. Let's have a look at some of these golfers this week. So, top of the shop, anyone 10K plus, like you said, the big omission this week being Rory has decided he doesn't want to get out of bed, despite it being an elevated event, despite him already missing elevated events this year. We've got John Rahm, unsurprisingly, off his Masters win at 11,100. Scotty Scheffler at 11,000. Jordan Spieth at 10,400. The captain slow, Patrick Cantlay at 10,300. And then we got Morikawa at 10,000. So those are our premium guys this week. Mark, I'll come to you first. Who are you basing your lineups around out of this?
Well, my favourite play here is Morikawa at 10K.
Love that.
Yeah. 10 the good drives, fourth and approach. He's just all round. You know, this when you describe this course, sounds like you're describing Morikawa's game. What I'm interested in about this though is John Rahm and Scotty Scheffler, because they just rank a tiny little bit higher for me. But I don't want to play. I'm not thinking to play John Rahm because of the Masters hangover. Whether that's really a thing for him, I don't know, because he's won so much. But then Scotty Scheffler suddenly he's actually number 1 just in my model. And I know, Jack, you were anti him last week. I'm just really
curious.
There was a reason. I know. I'm just curious if you're back on him now. I'm curious if you're back on him, Jack, this week.
I'm at the stage. I think I'm probably going to fade Rahm and Scheffler this week, just because I don't not think John Rahm can come here and win. I actually do think he can come here and win. Obviously, that Masters hangover is probably real. Scheffler was dead last in the field last week in putting. that is a big concern for me. I mentioned it last week. That was the whole reason why I was off of him. And, there was a couple of people in the tracker group, I know that, they were saying, oh, we're all in on him. I said there was reason for concern, and I was proven right in the end. I'm probably going to fade both of those two. I'm going to go to Patrick Cantlay. I really hate myself for doing it because I just can't. I don't want to watch him either. I really don't want to watch him, but I am going to play him. Fantastic course history here. By the way, it's just like Mark, Rahm and Scheffler are my 1-2. It goes Rahm, Scheffler. I take it they're your 1-2. Was they, Mark? Did you say?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
But just because your model's saying that this player's number one, there is other reasons to fade these players. Cantlay's record is pretty good. He was second last year. Obviously, he should have won last year. That's another shot that I remember really vividly last year. He played that stupid 9-iron or whatever he'd done going into the wind, and it went straight into the bunker. Nick's laughing because he remembers it as well.
180 yards, pulls out 9-iron. I was just like, oh, no, you're not.
And we were both like, what the hell is he doing? And he went straight into the bunker and it plugged. So, yeah, nice one, Patrick Cantlay. So, obviously, he was second last year. He missed the cut in 2021. I'm not really as worried about that. But then in 2019 and 2018, he was third and seventh. So that's good to see. He's got good course history here. He ranks number 6 in my model overall, which is good to see. Same for you, yeah?
Yeah, 6th in mine.
Makes lots of birdies, which is nice to see as well. So, yeah, I'm probably going to go to Patrick Cantlay this week. Very good on the approach as well. He's screened across the board, which I like to see. Decent driving distance as well, and decent driving accuracy, which is the accuracy for me is pretty key around here. I think if you're accurate off the fairways off the tee, around here, you're going to be in contention by the end of the week. Yeah, clearly a place he loves. Currently, ownership's looking pretty high, but I think I'm probably just going to live with it. I've kind of done it in these elevated events this year, just lived with the high ownership at the top and then got different elsewhere down the bottom. I'm probably going to do the same again this week and play Patrick Cantlay, but I'm not watching him hit any golf shots.
Yeah, especially if he pulls his 9-iron out. My God. Yeah, I'm very similar at the top for me as well. John Rahm comes out top for me, but then it's Morikawa and then Scheffler. Patrick Cantlay is 6th in my model as well. It's a clean sweep there for the show. With Scheffler's putting, Jack, when you look back, he went on a really consistent run when he had his win at the Waste Management last year, and then he went on an absolute tear, gaining strokes basically everywhere, and his putting was really consistent. And since then, it's been quite patchy, and he looked like he was kind of getting it together at the start of the year, and it's dropped off again. But you can see it on the greens as well. Like he hits a putt, and he looks frustrated before the ball's even got anywhere near to the hole. So yeah, I'm a fade on Scheffler this week. I'm also a fade on John Rahm, which I can't believe I'm saying because he's top of my model. But I would just like to probably get a little bit different this week and not just jump on the guy that's just won the green jacket. I'm with you, Mark. If there was ever a course that screams Morikawa, it's a shorter course. He's one of the better ball strikers on the tour in the field. He gains a lot of strokes on approach, especially when you kind of break it down to like a proximity level. He's kind of around sort of top 10s, top 20s on his proximity approaches. The one he's actually the worst on, ironically, is the 175 to 200, which is actually weighted more in my model. But I've seen enough of Colin Morikawa over the years to know that he's a really good iron player. And recently as well, I think he had a bit of a poor start to the year. He was going through a bit of a patch, and he seems to have come out of it the other side now. His putting at the Masters looked a little bit better. But he's gaining a lot of strokes still on his approach. Tee to green as well has been really good. And recently, after a couple of the missed cuts that he had, tied 10 at the Masters, tied 13 at the Players. I'm seeing better things from Morikawa. Just going back to his proximity approaches, by the way, I was on Scheffler there, not Morikawa. 175 to 200, he's actually ranked 9th. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much says it all there on that. So I'm Morikawa this week.
I think I can think my lineup construction is going to have 2 of these 10K and above players in it.
That's kind of what I've been doing at these elevated events all year. Just playing 2 of the guys at the top.
Yeah, and Morikawa is definitely one of them. The thing is, I've been bouncing back and forth between Cantlay and Scheffler for the other one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think I'm going to end up tossing a coin or something.
I think Cantlay is a great cash play. If I'm really honest.
Move on then to the 9s. So I say the 9s, not got a great deal in this category of 9s. Let's go 8 and above because there's really not a lot of golfers in the 9s this week. Victor Hovland, Cam Young, Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, Max Homa round out the 9s. And then within the 8s, we've got Justin Thomas. Big price discount on him this week, 8,900. Sam Burns, Sung Jae Im, Tom Kim, Matt Fitzpatrick, Shane Lowry, Tyrrell Hatton, Tommy Fleetwood, and Sahith Theegala. So, Jack, I will come to you first on this bracket. I've gone through a few there, so if there's a couple you like, by all means, shout them out. But who is it that's tickling your fancy in this price range?
Yeah, there's a few I like in this range. My favourite is Cam Young. He was 3rd here last year, which I'd like to see. He's now got Webb Simpson's old caddy on the bag. Webb Simpson won this event in 2020. So, yeah, clearly a place the caddy knows very well, which I'd like to see. I just think Cam Young is going to win sooner rather than later. Very good showing last week at the Masters, finished 7th. 2nd at the match play, as we all know. 51st at the Players, but I'm not particularly worried about the Players. And then 10th at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. It's great to see. Green across the board. Slightly just losing some strokes putting, but I mean, from what I saw last week on an eye test, he looked great putting for me at the Masters. So yeah, I like him this week. It's more the caddy thing. The caddy knows this place very well. Obviously, won here with Webb Simpson. So I'm very heavily invested in Cam Young. Others that I like, I'm not going to go into the stats or anything. I'll just read because we're running time already. But I like Victor Hovland in the range here. I like Justin Thomas, but I'm a sicko for things like that. So probably don't listen to me. But little stat that I'll throw in: 9 of the last 10 winners here missed the cut at the Masters. So don't worry as much for it.
So if Sandy Lar was playing, he'd be in your pool then, yeah?
No, I'm talking about elite players. That's a great. You're getting a good discount on Justin Thomas there. I don't know what happened with him at the Masters, but anyway, I'm a sicko, so I'll go back. I'm not playing Sung Jae, too highly owned. Everyone knows my faults. He's a plodder, can't win. Tom Kim, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Shane Lowry. I like all of those as well. Yes, it's a nice range. All of that range there is very decent. Great players.
Mark?
Yeah. I actually really like Sung Jae this week, as Jack already knows. But I knew that would cause some controversy. So, but he's not my favourite in this range. Tony Finau is my favourite in this range. He's 4th in my model of all models. He's 2nd in approach in the last 32. For example, hasn't missed a cut in a while. Lots of really good stats based around him. And he's relatively low owned, or projected to be relatively low owned here at the moment. Justin Thomas does intrigue me as well, though. I just think
You're a sicko like me.
Yeah, well, you just know that he's going to be so gutted about that Masters. What happened there with the Masters? Because as you know, Jack, he was one of your picks, wasn't he, and stuff. Justin Thomas last
Yeah,
week.
he was. Yeah.
And because everything was set up with the weather and everything for him.
Yep.
And he'll know that. I mean, he doesn't need to watch our show to know that. So I just feel, let's be honest, if he actually won and he won by a canter this week, none of us would be surprised come Sunday evening at all. And when's the last time we could get him at 8-9? Sorry.
The last time you got him at 8-9, he won.
There you go.
There you go.
So that combined with your Sandy Lyle not making a cut stat, Jack, it's just like a surefire thing, isn't it now? So yeah, but Finau and him are my favourite two in this range. But like Jess says, lots of good ones. I was kind of hoping there'd be some players with really big ownership discounts, but there isn't particularly currently projected anyway. So that's a shame.
I'm with you on Finau as well, Mark. He's fourth in my model.
Mine too.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the same model this week. I feel like but I am absolutely not going to ignore that price discount on a player like Justin Thomas. I think 8,900. I know Max Homa has won on tour this year, and he is playing good golf, but it's Justin Thomas. 8,900 is almost a bit of a mockery, given the caliber of player there. So I'm happy to take that discount. I don't care if his ownership is a little bit higher as a result. I really don't care. I think there's enough in this range that you'll get very similar kind of ownerships across the 8s and 9s anyway. I think Justin Thomas probably might be one of the more popular, but I think you'll absolutely get ownership on the likes of, Xander Schauffele at this kind of price. Sung Jae is always a popular play. I think Shane Lowry will garner a lot of interest this week. So yeah, Justin Thomas, I think that's just it's a mad price. That, like you said, Jack, I looked back and I had to look back to try and find when he was last priced at this. Was back in 2018, and he won. So yeah, there's not really been close to a price like this since. You've had sort of like low 9,000s, but for so long he's been mid to high 9s, 10 plus. I'm just going to take that and hope that he bounces back after that disaster last week. So
I think he will. He looked really disappointed. You could see on the 18th tee with Bones, he looked very, very disappointed. I'm not really sure what happened. I mean, the course just played really long, didn't it, when he was out there by the end of it? I don't know. It was a weird miscut for him. But yeah, I think he'll bounce back this week. I'll go back to him. But again, I am a sicko, so I'm the type of person who plays Grillo. So.
The 7Ks, I'm not going to go through all these because there is an awful lot of them in this range. Mark, I'll come to you first on this one. The 7Ks, give me your guy.
Well, Jack, I'm going to be polite. I'm going to be polite and say Sam Stevens for the 7Ks for me.
No, go. You say the other one as well, because I've got someone else that I like in this range.
Oh, okay. Well, I know me and Jack both like Ben Martin at 7-1. Yeah. He's 17th in my model, which is great for a player at this price. Good drives and approach. Yeah, there's good drives and approach. A top 20. So yeah, he's made his last four cuts. Just check his last. It might be his last 5 actually. Check. His last 6. Made his last 6 cuts, and 4 of those are top 13 or better. So yeah, he's I think it's 7-1. I think he's severely underpriced. I also like Sam Stevens at 7K as well. Similarly, he actually ranks a little bit higher than Ben Martin for me in the actual model. And similar reasons, really. Another one, he's coming off a 2nd and a 3rd as well. So,
a bit off topic, but well done to DraftKings for finally getting Cam Young an actual picture. Just the Sam Stevens flag there just reminded me of it. Well done. It only took 2 years.
I think Nick, I think it's only you and Cam Young's mum who cared about that.
Yeah. Do you know what? They've put Willie Zalatoris' pick on as well, and now he's out for the season.
Yeah,
So there we go.
Oh, so Cam Young's got an injury coming then, has he?
Yeah.
It must be the flag curse, the DraftKings flag curse, like the Madden curse. Jack, your 7K guy.
Matt Kuchar. He's made the cut 10 times out of 11 at this event. There's just certain golf courses Matt Kuchar likes, and we saw one last time out at the Valero Texas Open where he come third. He's green across the board. He's a bit of a plodder. He's like the older version of Sung Jae Im. He knows how to get it done around these places.
Maybe his dad.
I mean, he was third here last year. He was 18th in 2021, 41st in 2020, second in 2019, 23rd in 2018. He has won this event as well quite a while ago now, but he just knows his way around this place. I think he's going to probably garner some ownership, so probably more of a cash play. But I really do, yeah. I built a really nice cash lineup earlier, and he was my first lock on that cash lineup. So yeah, like Matt Kuchar. As Mark said, both of us are on Ben Martin this week. That normally never ends well when me and Mark agree on the same player, but we'll see. I'll go there. I like JT Poston as well. I've bet JT Poston this week at 110 to 1. I think that's gone right down to about 80 to 1 now on JT Poston. But made the cut of the Masters. Didn't expect that. Did not expect him to make the cut of the Masters. Made the cut there, finished 34th. He was 9th at the match play. He got out of his group at the match play, and he was 10th at the Valspar, which is great to see. Very good course history here as well. 3rd last year. Missed the cut in 2021. 8th and 6th before that as well. So yeah, I'll go back to the postman, JT Poston there. I am quite happy to throw him in a few lineups this week. And the ownership's not too high at the minute for him either, so that's nice to see. I'll just read off some names. I'm not going to go into details of these. Siwoo Kim, Pete Dye specialist, as we all know. Wyndham Clark hasn't been seen since the Corrales, where he comes 6th. But if the wind gets up, Windy Clark, as we called him, that's his name. We know what he can do. Good course history here as well. Chris Kirk, happy to go back there again. I mean, this is such a stacked range. Webb Simpson, because I'm a sicko, and I'll play him. Definitely will play Webb. Denny McCarthy, good putter, we know that. Seamus Power didn't let me down at the Masters last week. I had him in the lineup, didn't let me down at all. Mav McNeely, done well. The last few times that he's been at this golf course as well. Spaceman Sam Ryder, surprised Mark didn't mention him. I'll get him in the lineup, I think, this week as well. It's just stacked. This 7K range, you can build some really nice lineups from.
Yeah, you can, and there's not many names that haven't been mentioned there, but yeah, it probably would have been easier to mention the ones we weren't liking across the three of us, but very much the same. Wyndham Clark, I really like. He's gained a lot of strokes on approach recently. Like you said, we've not seen him since the Corrales, but he was putting in some good performances. I think he had like a fifth and a sixth, or a sixth and a fifth, the other way around maybe. Justin Rose, again, I like this week. Notoriously good iron player. Played well at the Masters. The little hip thrusting as his ball circled the cup was brilliant. If you got annoyed by that, then shame on you. Other than that, yeah, I've seen Webb Simpson pop up a few times. I don't even mind Matt Wallace here. That you're going back to Matt Wallace, who was playing some decent golf recently. Been gaining strokes on his approach. Yeah, normally decent around the greens as well. So yeah, it is a good range. This stacked range. I think you can build really good lineups if you're going to pick two of the top priced guys this week. It's good to get right into this range, and you can build a solid lineup. We mentioned Ernie Els at the top of the show, but is there anyone below the 7K range that you're playing this week?
Oh yes, definitely. Bartia, I play him. I go back to him. Everyone was on him at the Valero Texas Open. I like him this week. I didn't mention actually Aaron Rye, but he's right on that 7K range there. I'll go to him, Mr. Two Gloves. This seems like a perfect sort of setup for Aaron Rye this week. So yeah, definitely going to go back there. Joel Damon loves a coastal track, so happy to play him. Mark, anyone you like down there?
Tyler Duncan, Satoshi Kodaira. They're all ranking higher than it should be for their price. And even Ryan Moore, but there you go. That's more a statistical thing.
I might play Luke Donald as well because I'm a sicko. Just because it actually it won't show it up on the Rick Run Good what we're looking at. Cause there's quite a few miscuts there recently, but he went back to back here in the late 2000s. I know that. It's kind of just a perfect. So it's a plodder's golf course, and if you're like a veteran, you can sort of find your way around it. So yeah, don't mind Donald if you really want to get cheap this week.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Cameron Champ. No.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Just I know we've made a couple of jokes about Sandy Lyle and the core tonight, but do you know one thing we said last week was there's always one of these guys down at the bottom that goes and surprises and makes the cut. Lo and behold, day 4, Freddie Couples is still playing golf. What happened there?
Well, it's probably still not as impressive as Phil Mickelson, though.
I mean, I'm not convinced that's even Phil Mickelson anymore. It doesn't even look like Phil Mickelson. It looks like Bill Mickelson. Like, if that's not Phil, it's absolutely not Phil. Right, let's build a lineup then. So I'm going to go straight to the top. We said we're fading John Ram. We said we're fading Scheffler. We liked Cantlay. We liked Morikawa. Shall we see what kind of lineup we can build with these guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're down in the 7s straight away, so why not?
Who have you gone for? Cantlay and Morikawa, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stevens, maybe?
Well, definitely Ben Martin.
Yeah, stick Ben Martin in.
Ben Martin.
See, now you can just build quite a balanced lineup from that 7.
Yeah, you can, to be fair.
Stick in Windy Clark. You like Windy Clark, didn't you, Nick?
Yeah, I like Wyndham Clark, yeah.
And then that leaves you a 7.5. You still go up into, you get into like 7.8 range if you wanted to, and then go down again. Put Kuchar in. Yeah, 7.7.
And then we're down at 7.3.
Stevens in. I don't know, or Poston. I like Poston. It's up to you guys.
Poston, yeah. Depp McCarthy's there as well. There's a lot of golfers, to be fair, around this range.
Yeah, Matt Wallace is there.
Neely's there.
Ryder.
A lot.
If you're building a lot of lineups, you can just put 2 of the 10K guys in and just say, just spread them all out.
Spacemans. Yeah. Let's see if we can. We'll build one more. We'll put together a Justin Thomas.
I think you could see if you could sort of do like an 8K range one. So maybe stick in
Lowry, maybe.
Yeah, stick in a Lowry. I like Fitzpatrick. I think this is a perfect golf course for him. I don't know about you two.
Yeah, decent history here as well, Annie. Fitzpatrick. If we come down slightly, we can go back up again.
Chuck Kuchar back into this lineup at 7.7.
So if we throw in Cooch, so we're 8.50.
You could stick in.
What about Rose? You like Rose, Nick?
Yeah, I like Rose.
What about sticking in Sungjae? And then that takes you to 8.1 on the remaining player. Then you can stick Rose in, yeah.
Yeah.
And that leaves you cash to spare. So if you wanted to, you could get off Cooch and
you get up to Thigala if you want some birdies.
Yeah, well, that's what I would probably do for that lineup. I'd get off Cooch and put Thigala in that lineup. That's a solid lineup. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, like that. Don't think we need to build anything more there because I don't think you actually need to like that. I think it's one of two of those lineups. You're either going top heavy and venturing into the sevens, or build yourself something nice and balanced around that 8K range with maybe picking one of the guys from the 9K or even above. You could pick one of the 10Ks and then still build a lot of balance there this week. I like both.
We have got a question there, guys. If you were doing a one and done, who would you go for from Danny? Cameron Young for me. If you've got Cameron Young left, yeah, but you got to remember it's an elevated event, so if you get the winner, you get a lot more money on one and done.
Yeah, but if you pick so far,
if you haven't used Cameron Young's my pick.
Yeah,
Mark?
Yeah, I'd be Morikawa if I'd not picked him already, but like, yeah. Who knows?
I'll go with JT. JT for the bounce back. Though I would have picked Morikawa if you'd not stole him then, Matt.
I've been stealing everybody's players tonight.
Fellas, where can the listeners and viewers find you?
I'm at _SMRF on the Twitter.
I am at Jack Humphrey DFS on the Twitter. The newsletter will be out tomorrow for everyone. I will have everything in there. Mark's cut makers, my call, the weather, you name it. It's all in there, free of charge, until Mark says otherwise. So
you'll thank me. You'll thank me.
Yeah, I will probably do one day. And yeah, the golf tracker as well. Did a big update on that yesterday. I will sort of push my last update again tomorrow evening for the week. So obviously don't make any changes right till last minute. I didn't mention it on the show. I still think we might get 1 or 2 withdrawals this week. So I would not be I would leave your changes till the very, very last minute this week if you're playing season-long golf. But yeah, that's all from me this week, Nick. There's another Millie Maker up top, so let's actually take it down this week.
Yeah. And,
by the way, Nick, we didn't mention that Jack has opened up a lead in the old pod.
Oh yeah, we brushed
the pod
over
show.
that. Yeah, we did. Yeah,
it's the first two. It's the first 2 game lead of the.
It is
2-shot lead of the season.
I didn't really want to mention it. It was a pathetic performance for all of us all round, really, in that. I don't really want to mention it. But we do take these and we move on, So it's 6 wins to me and 4 apiece for the pair of you two. I might let you win this week. The problem is for you two, you're coming into an event that I absolutely love. So we'll see what happens. And then next week we're on to the pairs event, so that'll be interesting when we do a league for that. But there'll be no show, by the way, next week, just so everyone knows. We're having another week off because we can, and we're not doing a show for the pairs event. I will have a newsletter out for it though, so all the info will be in that. But yeah, good fun, good times ahead. We've got a surprise guest as well coming on at the next major, from a well-known DFS site, on the Twitter and about. So I'm looking forward to that. I won't give out the name as of yet, but it's going to be a nice surprise when we have that guest on. It
rhymes with Weigertuds.
Sorry?
Rhymes with Weigertuds.
I nearly forgot about the week off next week, Jack. So welcome to my world, fellas. Enjoy it next week. A week without golf. Oh well, a week without the show. It's not the first time for me.
You'll probably turn up, Nick.
Yeah, might just come on and soldier through, do the show myself. No, we won't be in next week. But I know we talk about it every week. But that newsletter, if ever you wanted proof, it is free of charge. Just go back and look at the Masters one last week and look at the players that were mentioned in that, the bets. Go on social media, have a look at who we spoke about. You would have made some money last week. You absolutely would have made money. So just subscribe to the newsletter. Subscribe to Jack's Tracker. It is absolutely going to come in handy for those who haven't. I
actually know people that made money last week. I had some very nice messages on the Twitter. A lot of people doubled up last week, and and tailed me on bets last week as well. I know Nick, you was on Mr. Ram as well. So yeah, win-win. Glad to see people winning. That's always nice. It's always nice to see nice messages like that. I know I'm a bit abrupt sometimes the way I come across, but I can be, but I do appreciate. I do appreciate the nice messages. I just wish people would use Google sometimes. That does infuriate me. So
I have. It's funny. It's funny. I got a message from somebody as well, and I actually thought last week was probably not. I used this word correctly. It was the newsletter which had the least right in it. I think out of almost all season, and yet still people made money. So if that's like our worst,
we've had some very good weeks. We still found the winner. We still found the winner in the newsletter. So
yeah, and still people would have doubled up if they'd have just paid combinations of players mentioned in the newsletter and stuff. So
and if you didn't subscribe to us at your worst, you don't deserve to subscribe to us at at our best even. But do you know what? It's free of charge, and we're offering it because we're just good guys. So as always, drivers for show, puts for dough. We won't see you next Tuesday, but we will see you a week on Tuesday. Catch you then.